Members of Congress, the President of the United States.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Madam Speaker, Mr. Vice President, members of Congress, the First Lady of the United States, and my fellow citizens, 3 years ago, we launched the Great American Comeback. Tonight, I stand before you to share the incredible results. Jobs are booming, incomes are soaring, poverty is plummeting, crime is falling, confidence is surging, and our country is thriving and highly respected again. America's enemies are on the run. America's fortunes are on the rise, and America's future is blazing bright. The years of economic decay are over. This is the first time that these deserving communities have seen anything like this. It's all working. Opportunity zones are helping Americans like Army veteran Tony Rankins from Cincinnati, Ohio. After struggling with drug addiction, Tony lost his job, his house, and his family. He was homeless. But then Tony found a construction company that invests in opportunity zones. He is now a top tradesman, drug-free, reunited with his family, and he is here tonight. Tony, keep up the great work, Tony. In fact, unfair trade is perhaps the single biggest reason that I decided to run for president. Following NAFTA's adoption, our nation lost 1 in 4 manufacturing jobs. Many politicians came and went pledging to change or replace NAFTA, only to do so, and then absolutely nothing happened. But unlike so many who came before me, I keep my promises. We did our job. Previous administration on Cuba. We are supporting the hopes of Cubans, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans to restore democracy. The United States is leading a 59-nation diplomatic coalition against the socialist dictator of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro. Maduro is an illegitimate ruler, a tyrant who brutalizes his people, but Maduro's grip on tyranny will be smashed and broken. Here this evening is a very brave man who carries with him the hopes, dreams, and aspirations of all Venezuelans. Joining us in the gallery is the true and legitimate president of Venezuela, Juan Guaido. Mr. President, please take this message back to your family. Thank you, Mr. President. Great honor. Thank you very much. Please take this message back that all Americans are united with the Venezuelan people in their righteous struggle for freedom. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you very much. We are supporting the hopes of Cubans, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans to restore democracy. The United States is leading a 59-nation diplomatic coalition against the socialist dictator of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro. Maduro is an illegitimate ruler, a tyrant who brutalizes his people, but Maduro's grip on tyranny will be smashed and broken. Here this evening is a very brave man who carries with him the hopes, dreams, and aspirations of all Venezuelans. Joining us in the gallery is the true and legitimate president of Venezuela, Juan Guaido. Mr. President, please take this message back to your homeland. Thank you, Mr. President. Great honor. Thank you very much. Please take this message back that all Americans are united with the Venezuelan people in their righteous struggle for freedom. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you very much. In the gallery tonight, we have a young gentleman and what he wants so badly, 13 years old, Ian Launfay. He's an 8th grader from Arizona. Ian, please stand up. Ian has always dreamed of going to space. He was the first in his class and among the youngest at an aviation academy. He aspires to go to the Air Force Academy, and then he has his eye on the Space Force. As Ian says, most people look up at space. I want to look down on the world. But sitting behind Ian tonight is his greatest hero of them all. Charles McGee was born in Cleveland, Ohio, 1 century ago. Charles is one of the last surviving Tuskegee Airmen, the first black fighter pilots, and he also happens to be Ian's great-grandfather. Incredible story. After more than 130 combat missions in World War II, he came back home to a country still struggling for civil rights and went on to serve America in Korea and Vietnam. On December 7th, Charles celebrated his 100th birthday. A few weeks ago, I signed a bill promoting Charles McGee to Brigadier General, and earlier today, I pinned the stars on his shoulders in the Oval Office. General McGee, our nation salutes you. Thank you, sir. From the Pilgrims to the founders, from the soldiers at Valley Forge to the marchers at Selma, and from President Lincoln to the Reverend Martin Luther King, Americans have always rejected limits on our children's future. Choice in the form of opportunity scholarships. The programs are so popular that tens of thousands of students remain on a waiting list. One of those students is Janiyah Davis, a fourth grader from Philadelphia. Janiyah. Janiyah's mom, Stephanie, is a single parent. She would do anything to give her daughter a better future. But last year, that future was put further out of reach when Pennsylvania's governor vetoed legislation to expand school choice to 50,000 children. Janiyah and Stephanie are in the gallery. Stephanie, thank you so much for being here with your beautiful daughter. Thank you very much. But Janiyah, I have some good news for you, because I am pleased to inform you that your long wait is over. I can proudly announce tonight that an opportunity scholarship has become available. It's going to you, and you will soon be heading to the school of your choice. Every young person should have a safe and secure environment in which to learn and to grow. For this reason, our magnificent First Lady has launched the Be Best initiative to advance a safe, healthy, supportive, and drug-free life for the next generation, online, in school, and in our communities. Thank you, Melania, for your extraordinary love and profound care for America's children. Thank you very much. My administration is determined to give our citizens the opportunities they need, regardless of age or background. Almost every American family knows the pain when a loved one is diagnosed with a serious illness. Here tonight is a special man, beloved by millions of Americans, who just received a stage 4 advanced cancer diagnosis. This is not good news, but what is good news is that he is the greatest fighter and winner that you will ever meet. Rush Limbaugh, thank you for your decades of tireless devotion to our country. And Rush, in recognition of all that you have done for our nation, the millions of people a day that you speak to and that you inspire, and all of the incredible work that you have done for charity, I am proud to announce tonight that you will be receiving our country's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. I will now ask the First Lady of the United States to present you with the honor, please. Rush and Catherine, congratulations. Thank you, Catherine. As we pray for all who are sick, we know that America is constantly achieving new medical breakthroughs. In 2017, doctors at St. Luke's Hospital in Kansas City delivered one of the earliest premature babies ever to survive. Born at just 21 weeks and 6 days and weighing less than a pound, Ellie Schneider was a born fighter. Through the skill of her doctors and the prayers of her parents, little Ellie kept on winning the battle of life. Today, Ellie is a strong, healthy 2-year-old girl sitting with her amazing mother, Robin. In the gallery, Ellie and Robin, we are glad to have you with us tonight. Ellie reminds us that every child is a miracle of life. And thanks to modern medical wonders, 50% of very premature babies delivered at the hospital where Ellie was born now survive. It's an incredible thing. Thank you. Search for America's youngest patients. That is why I'm also calling upon members of Congress here tonight to pass legislation finally banning the late-term abortion of babies. Whether we are Republican, Democrat, or Independent, results. Here is just one tragic example. In December 2018, California police detained an illegal alien with 5 prior arrests, including convictions for robbery and assault. But as required by California's sanctuary law, local authorities released him. Days later, the criminal alien went on a gruesome spree of deadly violence. He viciously shot one man going about his daily work. He approached a woman sitting in her car and shot her in the arm and in the chest. He walked into a convenience store and wildly fired his weapon. He hijacked a truck and smashed into vehicles, critically injuring innocent victims. One of the victims is a terrible, terrible situation. Died, 51-year-old American named Rocky Jones. Rocky was at a gas station when this vile criminal fired 8 bullets at him from close range, murdering him in cold blood. Rocky left behind a devoted family, including his brothers, who loved him more than anything else in the world. One of his grieving brothers is here with us tonight. Jody, would you please stand? Jody, thank you. Jody, our hearts weep for your loss, and we will not rest until you have justice. Senator Thom Tillis has introduced legislation to allow Americans like Jody to sue sanctuary cities and states when a loved one is hurt or killed as a result of these deadly practices. I ask Congress to pass the Justice for Victims of Sanctuary Cities Act immediately. The United States of America should be a sanctuary for law-abiding Americans, not criminal aliens.
Why did you rip the speech up, Madam Speaker?
Because it was the courteous thing to do, considering the alternatives.
It was the courteous thing to do. Why did you rip up the speech? Yeah. It was the courteous thing to do, considering the alternatives, is what she said.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't know what to say about that. Britt, you want to jump in on that?
Well, I think it's an interesting question. Did she do that so conspicuously as a gesture of solidarity with so many in her party who absolutely loathe this president, or is she genuinely kind of perpetually frustrated and enraged by this guy who she thinks is unworthy of the office, who couldn't possibly succeed in it, who's worthy of impeachment, and yet here he is tonight. His approval rating on the rise, the economy booming, all the things that he cited in the speech which are real, and she's got to sit there and listen to that, thinking all along that he doesn't deserve to be there and she shouldn't have to be sitting back while he's out front and with head up and banners flying. I think there's an element of rage in it.
Chris, you attended that pre-buttal.
Yeah.
There was a little ripping up the speech.
As I said at the beginning a couple of hours ago, I've been to a lot of these where there are congressional leaders of one party talking about the president of the other party, and I've never seen as visceral and an emotional a reaction, of a sense of disapproval of the president of the opposing party as I saw today, somewhat from Chuck Schumer, much more so from Nancy Pelosi. At one point, we were asking her, you know, could you work with this president? Is there anything you could work on? And she expressed again her strong disapproval of the president, and then she said, though, he's not that important to pass up an opportunity to lower drug prices or to build infrastructure. So she was in effect saying, you know, there's some things that we're going to talk about, and we would hold our nose and deal with them, but we'd hold our nose. She plain doesn't like them.
I mean, you think about all the situations that bring her to this frustration point, perhaps. You know, you've got the Iowa caucuses last night, the beginning of her party's presidential run, which did not go well. You look at the fact that initially she said, to say the least, that initially she said that she didn't want to do impeachment. She said it's too divisive, it's not going to be politically right for us. So now she got stuck with it. Tomorrow he's about to get acquitted, and he has the highest approval numbers that he's had in a long time. So, you know, everything is frustrating her to this extent, I suppose, Dana.
Well, she could have possibly had the upper hand a little bit in the conversation post-speech, because she could say, I reached out my hand to the president, he ignored me or didn't see me, whatever, but she had the upper hand. But now, the ripping up of the speech, I think there were names in there of people who had died, American citizens who had died. I mean, I think it was really disrespectful, but also super unsophisticated and not like her. And I think that when she rips it up, she also might be showing some frustration to her caucus, because she looks over at them. I don't know if it was in solidarity, but it might have been in frustration. Like, I told you, we should not have done impeachment, and here we are. And he's got the wind at his back, and now it's a choice between him with this great economy and us, which we can't get our act together.
Well, Chuck Schumer doesn't want to be left out. This is his ripping of the paper, a statement just released. The president's speech tonight was much more like a Trump rally than a speech a true leader would give. It was demagogic, undignified, and untruthful, highly partisan, he says. It's really amazing.
You know, it really wasn't, was it?
No, it wasn't.
I mean, we've heard Trump be all those things, perhaps.
Yes.
This speech tonight really wasn't.
Arguably, wasn't it one of his better speeches?
I would think that most people, neutral observers, would have to say yes.
I mean, this is a speech that ended with, we're Americans, we're pioneers, we're pathfinders, we settled the new world, we built the modern world, we changed history forever by embracing the eternal truth that everyone is made equal by the hands of Almighty God. I mean, there's a lot of very unifying rhetoric in this speech.
One of the things that the Democrats said in this pre-buttal, I'm just reporting what they said, was he's going to have a night, but it's what he does the other 364, or this being a leap year, 365 days of the year. And they were arguing, you got to see what he actually does, and that's what drives them.
When they put the budget up, what's in the budget?
Exactly.
How does he govern?
And they point out, he spent the first year trying to repeal Obamacare, and now he's joined the lawsuit to try to gut Obamacare. So, they're saying this rhetoric and this conciliatory tone is not who he is.
And yet there's a lot of issues that you bring up. They said that we're going to give him this night. He should have this night. They didn't do that.
Yeah, go ahead.
And a lot of the things that he wants Congress to pass are things that Democrats would typically want: child care, all the lower prescription drugs. I mean, these are actually things. They're not like your typical limited government type of conservative speech. This was basically giving them what they want.
This is the beginning of what we saw last night and the beginning of the 2020 race.
Yeah.
And we're seeing it kind of shape up here of where these lines are going to be drawn. We just don't know the Democratic part of the equation.
That's right. And it can't have been too far from Pelosi and even Schumer's mind that the party in Iowa had a terrible night last night. And here we are, day 2 after Iowa, and we still don't know what the vote tally out there is.
Let me just quickly say, I asked Speaker Pelosi about that and about the Republican argument. Hey, these guys can't run a caucus. They're going to run health care. She really got upset at that and said, those are Republican talking points that cut me off. She didn't like that. She didn't rip up my notepad, though. No,
okay.
she didn't.
All right. Panel, thank you very much.